A girl staring into a mirror, tears streaming down her face, hating every inch of what she sees. Not because she wants to, but because years of cruel words, too dark, too skinny, not pretty enough, have carved themselves into her soul. That girl was me. But what if I told you that same girl, at 30, stood tall, looked in that mirror, and said, I am enough? Stick around, because this is the story of how I turned pain into power and silenced every voice that tried to break me. Hello, everyone. My name is Amara, I'm 30 years old, and I live in Chicago. By day, I'm a graphic designer, but today, I'm sharing a deeply personal story from my life. If you've ever felt judged, underestimated, or like you didn't belong, this one's for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into a story that might just touch your heart. Let me take you back to where it all began. I was just 17, navigating the choppy waters of high school in a small suburb outside Chicago. The town was one of those places where the houses all looked the same, manicured lawns stretching out like green carpets, and everyone seemed to have their lives perfectly scripted. But for me, Amara, it felt like I was reading from a different book altogether. I was the girl with the deep brown skin that soaked up the sun like a sponge, my frame so slender that I could slip through crowds unnoticed, and hair that exploded in curls no matter how much I tried to tame it. I loved drawing, pencils scratching against paper, creating worlds where I could be anyone, anything. But the real world? It had a way of clipping my wings before I even tried to fly. It started with the little things, the kind of comments that sneak under your skin and fester. I remember gym class vividly. The air was thick with the smell of rubber mats and sweat, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry bees. Jenna, the queen bee with her golden ponytail swinging like a pendulum, would sidle up during stretches. Amara, she'd say, her voice dripping with fake concern, you're so skinny. Do you even eat? Like, seriously, you look like a stick figure. The other girls would titter, their laughter echoing off the gym walls, sharp and piercing. I'd force a chuckle, mumble something about being a picky eater, but inside, my stomach twisted into knots. Why did my body have to be a punchline? That night, I stood in my bathroom, the mirror fogged from the shower, but I wiped it clear anyway. My reflection stared back, eyes wide and uncertain, collarbones jutting out like mountain ridges. I poked at my arms, pinched my thighs, wondering why I couldn't be more, something. Lighter? Curvier? Prettier? I started avoiding reflective surfaces after that. Store windows, car mirrors, they all became hazards. I'd duck my head, pull my hood up, anything to not see the girl who wasn't enough. As the months rolled on, the comments snowballed. At family gatherings, the backyard filled with the sizzle of burgers on the grill and the chatter of relatives, my Aunt Rita would pull me aside. She'd pinch my arm, her fingers like vice grips, and cluck her tongue. Child, you need some meat on those bones. You're too dark and too thin, no boy's gonna look twice at you like that. Her words hung in the air, heavy as the smoke from the barbecue. I'd nod, smile politely, but later, in my room, I'd curl up under the blankets, hot tears soaking my pillow. Why did my worth hinge on how I looked? Why couldn't they see the girl who aced her art projects, who dreamed of illustrating children's books? Even my supposed friends weren't immune. Mia, my best friend since elementary school, with her straight hair and freckled cheeks, would try to help. We'd be at the mall, the fluorescent lights making everything look harsh, the scent of pretzels and perfume mingling in the air. Amara, you'd be so pretty if you straightened your hair or tried some foundation to even out your tone. Her words were meant kindly, I think, but they sliced deep. I started experimenting, harsh chemicals on my curls that left them brittle, baggy clothes to hide my shape. I felt like a ghost in my own life, fading into the background. By the time I hit 19 and started college in the city, I thought things might change. Chicago was a whirlwind, towering skyscrapers piercing the sky, The L train rumbling like thunder, streets alive with people from every corner of the world. I enrolled in graphic design at a local university, excited to turn my sketches into something real. But the shadows followed me. My roommate, Sarah, was a force of nature, confident, with curves that turned heads and skin that glowed under any light. We shared a cramped dorm room, bunk beds creaking, posters peeling from the walls. She'd blast music while getting ready, twirling in front of the mirror. "Amara, come on, try this lipstick. It could really brighten you up, make you less washed out." Washed out. The word echoed in my mind as I lay in bed that night, the city lights filtering through the blinds in stripes across the ceiling. I felt invisible, even in a city of millions. The comments from home blended with new ones at school. In lectures, professors would call on the bubbly students, overlooking the quiet girl in the back. But the real villain emerged in my sophomore year, Professor Larson. He was a towering figure in the design world, mid-50s, with salt and pepper hair and a voice that boomed like a cannon. His classes were legendary and terrifying. He favored the bold, the flashy, those who mirrored his ego. I poured my soul into my portfolio for his review. Nights spent hunched over my desk, the lamp casting a warm glow, my fingers stained with graphite. I created pieces inspired by my heritage, swirling patterns of African motifs mixed with urban grit. But during the class critique, with the room smelling of coffee and anxiety, he flipped through my work dismissively. "Amara," he drawled, his eyes narrowing behind wire-rimmed glasses, "this is underwhelming. It's timid. You're trying to blend in, disappear. Design demands presence, and frankly, you lack it. Maybe this isn't for you." The class shifted uncomfortably, whispers rustling like leaves. My face burned, a flush creeping up my neck. I bit my lip so hard I tasted blood, fighting back the tears that blurred my vision. That critique broke something in me. I started doubting everything. My art, my dreams, myself. I spiraled into dangerous habits. At 21, desperate for change, I dove into fad diets I found scrolling late at night on my phone. The detox, cleanse, lemon water spiked with cayenne, nothing solid for days. My stomach roared in protest, cramps twisting like knives. I'd wake up dizzy, the room spinning, but I'd push through. One afternoon, in the shower, the steam thick and suffocating, my vision tunneled. I collapsed, my head thudding against the tile, stars exploding behind my eyes. Mia found me, wrapped me in a towel, her voice frantic. "Amara, what are you doing to yourself?" My health plummeted. Doctor visits revealed anemia, weakened bones. My grades tanked. I'd stare at blank canvases, unable to create. Larson's words replayed on loop, "You lack presence." I avoided social events, holing up in my room, the walls closing in. Betrayal stung from all sides, family, friends, mentors. I felt powerless, a puppet pulled by strings of judgment. The craving for justice, for validation, simmered beneath the surface, but I didn't know how to grasp it yet. The turning point crept up at 23, my senior year. I was a shell, thin, tired, my once vibrant sketches now lifeless doodles. One rainy afternoon in the university library, the scent of old books and coffee comforting, I slumped at a table, flipping through a design magazine to distract myself. Thunder rumbled outside, rain pattering against the windows like impatient fingers. That's when I found the article on Nia Carter, a black artist who'd risen from similar struggles. Her photo beamed confidence, dark skin radiant, curls unbound, her designs bold explosions of color and culture. Her words leapt off the page. I stopped letting other people's mirrors define me. I became my own reflection. My art isn't about fitting in, it's about standing out. My heart raced, a warmth spreading through my chest. For years, I'd internalized the hate, but here was proof it didn't have to be that way. I sat there, rain streaking the glass, tears mixing with the damp air. Anger bubbled, not self-loathing, but defiance. Why should I change for them? I thought. They're the ones who are blind. That evening, back in my dorm, the air heavy with the smell of takeout Mia had left, I faced the mirror. My reflection was gaunt, eyes shadowed, but I searched deeper. "This is me," I whispered, voice trembling. It wasn't conviction yet, but a seed planted in fertile soil. The road to reclamation was winding, paved with small victories and setbacks. After graduation, at 23, diploma in hand but spirit fractured, I moved to Chicago proper, trading suburbs for the city's pulse. I landed a junior designer gig at a boutique firm, the office aloft with exposed bricks and humming computers. Pay was meager, hours grueling, but it was a foothold. Mornings started with the screech of the L train, coffee steaming in my hand as I navigated crowded sidewalks. Therapy became my anchor. Dr. Ellis, a kind woman with a soothing voice and walls lined with abstract art, listened without judgment. Our sessions in her cozy office, scented with lavender, unpacked the layers. "Amara," she'd say, "those words aren't truths, they're projections." She assigned a journal, one positive affirmation daily. At first, the pages mocked me, blank, accusing. My pen hovered, doubts whispering. But I started small. I liked the curve of my wrist, delicate yet strong. My eyes hold stories. The list grew, a lifeline. Work became my canvas for reinvention. I volunteered for extra projects, staying late when the office emptied, the city lights twinkling outside like stars. I experimented, digital tools blending with hand-drawn elements, colors vibrant as my emerging self. Freelance gigs trickled in, logos for local cafes, posters for community events. Each success chipped at the doubt. At 25, I hit a plateau. A promotion dangled, but my boss, Mr. Hale, a Larson clone, all bluster and bias, passed me over for a less experienced colleague. "Amara, you do good work, but you need more assertiveness." His office smelled of stale coffee, his words echoing old wounds. Fury ignited. Not again, I thought, fists clenched under the desk. I channeled it, enrolled in online courses, honing skills in branding, UI, UX. Networked at industry meetups, the rooms buzzing with chatter, clinking glasses. I met mentors, women of color thriving, sharing war stories. "Own your narrative," one said, her voice firm over cocktails. By 27, opportunity knocked. The Chicago Cultural Festival sought branding. A massive event, music, art, food celebrating diversity. The pitch was competitive, entries flooding in. Scrolling the list, my breath caught. Professor Larson's consultancy was entered. Adrenaline surged. This is it, I thought. My chance to show him. Preparation was meticulous. Weeks of brainstorming, sketches piling on my apartment floor, the scent of markers sharp. I wove in personal touches, motifs from my heritage, bold hues reflecting the city's mosaic. Practice pitches in front of my mirror, voice growing steady. Doubts crept in at night. What if I fail? But I'd journal. I am capable. I am enough. The pitch day arrived, the conference room sleek with glass tables, the air-conditioned chill raising goosebumps. Larson entered, smug as ever, his team trailing. He glanced at me, eyebrows arching in surprise, then dismissal. My turn came. Heart pounding, palms slick, I unveiled my concepts. This branding captures Chicago's soul, diverse, resilient, unapologetic. Slides flipped, designs popping. The clients leaned in, nods rippling. Larson's pitch followed, polished but generic. The decision. Mine won. Ms. Patel shook my hand, eyes sparkling. You've nailed it. Larson's jaw tightened, color draining. Victory tasted sweet, like vindication. But expansion didn't stop. The contract led to more. A book cover series, ad campaigns. At 28, I launched my studio, a cozy space in Wicker Park, walls adorned with my art. Clients sought me for my unique voice. I mentored young designers, especially girls of color, sharing my story over coffee meetups. Festival opening was magic, streets alive with beats, aromas of jerk chicken and empanadas wafting. My designs dominated, banners fluttering, apps buzzing. Crowds thronged, phones snapping. Pride swelled, tears pricking. Spotting Larson in the throng, alone, expression sour. He approached hesitantly. Amara, impressive. His voice strained, eyes avoiding mine. I may have misjudged. Humiliation etched his features, shoulders hunched, usual arrogance cracked. I met his gaze. Thank you, Professor. I've learned to define my own worth. No malice, just truth. He nodded curtly, retreating into the crowd. Home that night, mirror ritual. This is me, and I am enough. Voice resonant, a declaration. Relief washed over, years of pain dissolving. This journey taught me justice isn't always loud, sometimes it's quiet triumph. Karma rewards persistence. If you're struggling, remember, your worth isn't in others' eyes. Bet on yourself, the payoff is profound. If this resonated, like and comment. When did you reclaim your power? Share your stories, I read them all. Subscribe for more inspiring tales, hit the bell. Thanks for joining, see you next time.